Hi, and welcome to Crit Hit Wild, where we talk about all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Angel, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
There he is. There he is. There was a delay there. Steven is not present. Hopefully, he will be joining us next week. We'll see. But I'll have more news next week. Thank you guys for joining me. How are you guys doing today? How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm okay.
That's good to hear. How are you, Brandon?
I'm tired.
Brandon, I hear you. I'm exhausted.
I'm very tired.
Yeah. I spent this weekend visiting my family up in northern West Virginia, and I just got back about 2 hours ago. So I am spent for the week, and it's Sunday. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully today we are going to be energized by the person we're here to cover, Angel. But before we get to that, let's talk about some upcoming events. So we don't have any events that are slated for the rest of August, but starting in September, on September the 14th is the Akron Brew Brawl. That was at Missing Falls Brewery, and we were there not last, we were there this March, and it was a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to participating in this one. Then coming up on the 21st of September is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston. That is our local game store. So if you are in the area or are interested in traveling to see what playing against us is like, come on down. It's fun. We usually have a pretty small tournament, so we could always use more players who want to travel. And then coming up on the 28th of September is the big BECC tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh. That is going to also be an LVO qualifier. So prepare for that one. That one's going to be a big tournament. All right. That's all that I currently have in September. So let's talk about something else. I don't think that there's any news that we need to discuss. I don't think there's any news that we need to discuss. So I don't know what to do right now. We also didn't come up with a recalibration matrix that we needed to do. So unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have a recalibration matrix. But Brandon, I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you about what your take is on Warlock.
All right. Well, my take on Warlock can't be as bad as your take was before Warlock. So,
On Sunspot.
that's fine. So,
Yes, my take was very bad. I recognize that.
I'm glad you came around. I'm glad the conglomerate forced you into a better opinion.
Now, I'll say this. I am still probably lower on him than you guys. But I was too low on him.
You were too low. Yeah, it was the too lows feature. Warlock on face value seems like he does a lot and nothing at the exact same time,
Okay.
which is
He has like a range 4 5 dice energy attack.
he does. Yeah, like his attacks are like generally good. His spender is not as good as other spenders have been, but it's still good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3 threat model. He can't have
Yeah.
that great of a spender.
Yeah, it's his superpowers that are kind of odd. Like I like the healing, but it's situational healing, and then I like the virus infection is also something. It's very much I don't like the range on it because I really enjoy. I have been a decent advocate for playing Omega Red,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that Omega Red also has. It's the exact same thing except for they added more words to this one, which is fine. I wish it was range 3, but there's no way it can be better than the one Omega Red had, so I
Right.
completely understand it. Um, so I the the unstable outline, like he's got good stuff on him. Power economy might be kind of rough. I also think this model is going to die really easily.
Yeah.
3 physical, 3 energy, and only 5 health is going to be kind of tough. good immunities to bleed and poison. I like the fact that he gives out a lot of conditions too, so he's going to be really useful. I think I think he's going to be better on the table than he looks on his card. Because I think his card is kind of feels like I said, it just feels like it's going to do a lot, but also do nothing at the same time. So I feel like on the table he might do more than he looks. So I think I think he'll be a solid character that's going to see play mostly in his factions, especially is it New Mutants?
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's probably going to have a home there, depending on how that roster fleshes out, at least early on. Because I mean, having a 3 that can throw a 10 dice attack is really really good. With a throw on it, being able to heal.
Throw a 10 dice attack.
Yeah,
Hold on. How
the
does he?
selfless.
It's
Oh, it's you get
so it's
rerolls.
only
Sorry, not
rerolls. Yeah,
yeah, sorry, rerolls, not add dice.
right.
So that it's less good, but it's still good. Rerolls are good.
I
So
would say it's probably close to as good. A little
yeah,
bit of dice fixing.
yeah, dice fixing is good. Again, it's very relevant on terrain. So there are matchups where like if there's not a lot of terrain around him, he kind of gets his spender gets a lot worse. His
Yeah.
ability becomes turned off, so he's kind of awkward in that scenario. I don't know with 5 health how often you're actually going to be using transmode virus infection to like deal the 2 damage. Um,
Yeah. You
I
almost
mean,
never use it, I think. I think
you're gonna
it's
you're gonna use it if you can just trade like him dazing to daze someone else, which is probably fine in some scenarios.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's still just like and it's auto damage. You can treat him like a missile if someone had poison and had 2 health left. But
yeah, that's really what you're gonna do. The fact that his conditions are all wild base is gonna be kind of annoying.
yeah.
If, but yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's gonna be a middle of the pack character that sees some play in his factions, but I don't think you're considering this model outside of his affiliations.
Okay. We essentially said the same thing, but I said it much more effusively. I said it much happier. So, what's your letter grade here on this guy?
I want to go with a C plus.
C plus? Okay. We
C.
gave him all across the B's.
Yeah,
So,
I was in between C plus and B minus, and I just think where you're not gonna really ever splash him, I think that just kind of pulls him down a little bit.
fair, fair.
And
All
there's a
right. Well,
lot of mutants that are 3 threats, so if I don't know how many of them will be new mutants, and if a bunch of them are, he kind of just gets knocked out really fast.
yeah. Yeah, he does.
But that's a Brad question, not a me question.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for your take on Warlock. Uh let's move on. I guess what we're going to do this is going to go real quick cuz where we're moving right now is Brad's trivia game. Hey Brad, do you
Yeah,
have a trivia game for us to play?
I sure do. And by us, I think you mean mostly you, Fred. So this is how this trivia game works. I'm gonna give Fred a piece of trivia from Marvel Comics, and the answer is a Marvel Crisis Protocol character. Uh, if he gets it right, he'll get 3 points. If he doesn't get it right, I give him a hint. If he gets it right with the hint, he gets 2 points. And if he doesn't get it right there, he can throw it over to Brandon to earn a single point. Fred needs 6 points to win, and he's really bad at this game and hardly ever wins.
I win sometimes.
I said hardly ever, not never.
Okay.
Fred, do you have any questions? Good. Your first trivia is this character's powers work by borrowing or shunting mass to themselves through their own timeline.
Through their own time. So they're stealing the mass from earlier or later versions of themselves?
Yes.
Interesting. Is it Ant-Man?
No.
Okay.
Your hint. This character is the first character to be part of 2 different groups of genetically modified human. A combination a combination that was previously thought impossible.
Is it Hulk?
That is incorrect.
Daggone
Brandon,
it. Daggone it.
Brandon, do you know who this is?
So he pulls energy from himself in different
Mass.
timelines, different
Mass
math.
from different uh, points in their own timeline, future and past.
Do they change mass? That's got to be.
Yeah. I don't know where the fuck you got Ant-Man from.
What? He change. Well, actually, he doesn't change mass, does he?
He
He just
does
grows and
not
shrinks.
change mass.
Well, whoops. Never mind. Hulk definitely changes his mass.
Yeah,
Hulk,
Hulk made sense. Hulk,
Hulk,
at least
yeah.
I can see where you got that one from. I could
Also,
not.
also, in the movies, we see giant Ant-Man picking up stuff that no living human could pick up. So, in my defense, I'm drawn away. And he also walks on someone's gun. Why doesn't that gun just immediately fall onto the floor? Never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
Also, Fred, all that, everything that you just mentioned, it's all solved by the what? It's the square cube rule. That takes care of all of it. Don't worry about it.
So, what was the second hint again? I'm sorry.
The second one was that this is the first character to be part of two different groups of genetically modified human, and this combination was previously thought impossible.
Um, I really don't have a clue, to be honest. Like, I don't even know who to guess. Um, is it Shadow King?
No. So the correct answer is Miss Marvel,
Oh,
Uh,
who
okay.
is a mutant and an inhuman.
Oh, okay.
But the
Okay.
Terrigen, that was thought impossible because the Terrigen mist, which activates the inhuman gene, gives mutants a incurable disease that kills them.
Okay.
But she is somehow both. And I learned about how her powers work last night when I was reading a comic about her. So,
It's not how they work in the show. So,
no. They did give her that as her mutant power, though.
okay.
But she stretches and shrinks. That's why she
Huh.
embiggens the model and gets big. And,
Okay.
and
I
she,
know next to nothing about Ms. Marvel.
yeah,
I also don't know.
she borrows that mass to get bigger from the other times when she shrinks.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird power. Um,
At least they thought about the conservation of mass,
they
which I
did.
think they sometimes don't.
They did. They did. Well, her friend Bruno was eventually like, "We need to figure out how your powers work because they probably shouldn't." And then he figures it out.
Okay.
Uh, so far you have 0 points, Fred. So you just have to nail these next two.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe in
Sure.
you.
This character is a big Star Wars fan, going so far as to name their pet alien cat after one of the characters.
Pet alien cat. Okay. Well, that makes me think of the cat uh from Captain Marvel. Is it Captain Marvel?
This character was put in charge of the new Alpha Flight, which safeguards Earth from alien threats. This was a good fit since this character has DNA from an alien race and has spent a lot of time in space fighting aliens.
Is that alien race the Kree because it's Captain Marvel?
That is correct. So 3 points for
Yeah.
Fred.
Yay!
What's the cat's name?
I do, oh god. How do I not? Is it I don't know. Is it Chewbacca?
It's
What is the cat's
Chewy.
name? It's Chewy.
It's
Okay.
Chewy.
I wasn't completely off
It may
topic.
not be in the movie, but it definitely is in the comics.
It
And
might be. I don't remember.
and
I don't
it's
remember.
a flurkin. That's the
A
race.
flurkin.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
race. It's a flurkin.
His name is Goose in the movie.
Oh,
Goose.
that's right. They
Okay.
did name it Goose in the movie
Because she's
after
a fighter
Top
pilot
Gun.
fan.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's stupid.
They Marvel is the same company as Star Wars. They could have the legally used Star Wars products. I bet.
They could have, yeah. And it's not like she's from a time before Star Wars, because she's from the 90s.
Right.
She could have grown up watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
She definitely did. She
yeah,
definitely did.
And you can
there's,
acknowledge Star Wars because you have all the rights to it.
yeah,
Missed opportunity.
absolutely. Okay. This character's day job was a fashion designer. This character has designed many of the costumes their friends wear, including Carol Danvers' first costume as Miss Marvel.
They designed Miss Marvel's suit. This
Yes.
character designed Miss Marvel's suit.
And a bunch of other suits, because they are a fashion designer.
Oh my god, how am I gonna know this? How am I gonna know this? I don't know.
I mean, this character
um.
very famously fashion designer. So
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful.
And the first answer was Miss Marvel, and this is Captain Marvel.
Right. So, is there another character that's named Marvel? Is that the thing that he did? I don't think there is. I think that's it. Famously a fashion designer. I
I
don't know
mean,
who's a
there
fashion
there
designer.
is Marvel Boy.
Yeah, but not in this game.
True.
Not in the game. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna say Dracula because Dracula has style.
Uh that's correct.
No, it isn't. Come
No,
on.
it's
What's
not.
what's the
Your
hint?
hint. The original member This original member of the Avengers helped find Captain America and had their mind copied to a robot body, creating a new character named Jocasta. In an alternate universe, this character also gets eaten by the Blob.
Oh my god. Okay. Original member of the Avengers. There was a big hint. They get turned
Yeah.
into a robot body of named
No, no, no,
Jocasta,
no. They don't get turned into. They copy their mind over to a robot body, and that's a different new character.
named Jocasta.
Yes.
Is it Iron Man?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Brandon, do you know who this is?
The
Iron
only
Man, the
person I can
fashion
think of,
designer.
the only one I can think of that I think did some fashion design was like the Wasp, but I don't think that's who we're talking about. I don't think that was ever really like a big thing, or even if that's a thing, or if I'm just fucking making that up in my head right now. Uh, but I am, I guess, gonna go with the Wasp.
The Wasp is correct.
Wasp
That's
is correct.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
because in a lot of the older like Wasp like or like Ant-Man Avengers stuff, like that's what Wasp does, right? Like it,
I mean, Wasp does a lot of things, but one of them is design basically
yeah.
everyone's suit.
Was that's what she did in the old like Avengers cartoon, right?
Probably, yeah.
I think that's the only thing that I can make sense of in my head, and that's
Yeah.
what was like sticking out to me was like
So
that old Avengers comic that the Wasp and Ant-Man were like very relevant in.
Jocasta was built to be Ultron's wife and
Oh,
has
God.
Janet Van Dyne's brain patterns. That's the second time they built a robot and put someone's brain patterns in them. Uh, the first one was the Vision, who has Wonder
Right.
Man's brain patterns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wonder Man's.
yeah. All right. So I have a
And
bone.
now the blob eating her makes a lot more sense because she was probably tiny.
No,
Oh wait, she
you
wasn't.
would think, but no. This was in
Oh God.
this was in the Ultimate Universe, and the Ultimate Universe gets crazy. But yeah, he ate her. He's just like snacking on her guts when the good guys find him.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Horrible.
it's brutal.
Was he in the right state of mind, or was he?
Yeah, I mean, as much as that version of him is. The Blob also catfished Beast in the Ultimate Universe by pretending to be a barely legal teen who was into
Oh
him.
no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's the Ultimate Universe is crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
Seriously.
4
Beast is
points.
really on the shit end of a lot of these stories.
He is a genocider and
A war criminal.
war criminal. So
Yeah.
he
So I'm saying
does.
he's really on the bad end of a lot of these stories.
Uh, that's 4 points for Fred. So I have a bonus question, and good news for Fred, it's worth 2 points. Okay,
Okay.
Fred, what do these characters have in common? And it is not a shared affiliation.
Oh no. Okay.
I mean, they
Well,
do have a shared
they
affiliation in
yeah,
common.
Yes,
they
but
are all
that's not
Avengers.
the correct answer in this case.
Okay, well, they all have different forms, or at least the second version of Captain Marvel has a different form, where Miss Wasp can turn into a little wasp, Ms. Marvel can embiggen, and Captain Marvel can turn into Unleashed Captain Marvel. What is she called?
Um,
Twin form,
no, binary form.
binary form.
Binary.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
what I think it is.
that they all use the transform mechanic. That is correct.
Okay.
I
Okay.
now I now wish that the third question was Marvel Girl. So that they
Marvel
all
Girl.
had Marvel in their name. Yeah, that's Jean Grey's original. Uh,
Wait, but okay, so you wanted it to be Jean Grey so that
no,
they
no,
would
no.
all be
What? No, when Brandon said that, I was like, man, I should have wrote this about Jean Grey.
Yeah, your question, one of your hints could have been this model's original name was Marvel Girl, and Fred would have never known that.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. It would have been really good,
Correct.
and then the theme would have been really on point that they're all to have Marvel in the name. But
Yeah.
They're
I
all
didn't do that.
original
I
names that are
didn't think of
Marvel
that.
based.
I didn't think of that. I read that Miss Marvel comic where like it explained how her powers work, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna sit here and write trivia now because that's gonna be my trivia. And so I had to think of something about Miss Marvel that I could pick two other characters. Fred also didn't notice that I've already asked questions about Captain Marvel and maybe also Wasp.
I mean, you're correct. I barely remember the three people in today's trivia question. It's
Who was the middle one?
Captain Marvel.
Good job, Fred. Okay,
Captain Marvel.
just
It
checking.
took me a second. That did take me a second. But like in the past there have been times where I've forgotten which one of the three. So there's no way I'm going to remember who you've done before. You could do this 10 times the same character.
I may have to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we technically won. We won this one?
Yes, you did win this one,
Yeah.
Fred.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Brad, for that trivia game. Is there anything else we need to do, or are we going straight into Angel? I think
Do
we're
you
going
guys want
straight
to
into.
talk? Did you guys ever want to talk about the games you played?
You're right. We have games that we played recently.
You guys do. I don't.
I played 2 games recently, and one of them was against Brad, and I think it's the only game that Brad has. So, Brad, why
That
don't
is
you talk
correct.
about it?
I played Cyclops X-Men. Fred played. Did you play Spider Foes? I don't remember a lot about this game now.
Yeah, I played Spider Foes.
Okay, you broke up there for a second. Okay,
Yeah, sorry, I
Spider
hit my mic.
Foes. Do you remember what the scenario was? It was
It
18
was it
points.
was hammers. I remember
It
hammers
was
because that was relevant
hammers
to a later point in the game.
and Mutant Madmen. I
That
think it
sounds correct because it
was.
was a B. I think it was a B. Yeah, it was Mutant
Yeah.
Madmen
Oh
hammers.
yeah, this is the game where Fred cheated.
Where I caught myself cheating and corrected it, and it cost me the
Yeah.
game.
Since it
Is
was
it as
a
much of a, is it as much of a cheat as Brad did the week before?
no.
No.
Uh if if things worked the way Fred thought without reading his card, he would have won this game. But because they didn't, and like the correct choice was to like undo it as little as possible, it ended up winning me the game barely.
Yeah.
And it's that
If I
Electro.
had just not done this, I would have won the game.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the mistake caused me to win this game, and we only finished it out because it was a friendly game. Fred was
Yeah.
willing to concede, and we talked him into playing it out. Uh, but Electro drops his extracts when he teleports, which Fred forgot about and didn't reread his card till later. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So I at one point teleported Electro across the field, and I took the hammer with me that he was carrying, and I did that to pick up another hammer over on the other side of the field, uh, and to concentrate all the hammers over where I was winning the fight. And I can't do that obviously because Electro drops all of his hammers when he does that big teleport that he has. So if I had just stayed over there, I would have probably pulled out a win in this game because
yeah,
Electro with a hammer would have probably would have changed how things shook out on that side of the
yeah,
battlefield.
yes, it definitely would have been different because I completely dominated that side,
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
Fred dominated the other side. So
yeah.
if
But
Electro
so
stayed
what
over
we
there to help, maybe I don't dominate that side.
right. What we did was I put down the hammer in the general vicinity of where I was, and Nightcrawler picked it up.
Yep,
So instead, I moved myself back a point in the victory points thing, and we moved Brad up a point in the victory points thing.
yep. Oh no, I
And
couldn't. I couldn't have picked it up that turn. I didn't move. You went back one.
oh, okay,
I didn't
oh,
move.
mine went back one. Yeah, but I realized it when I was trying to go and kill Domino with Electro, and I was like, oh, I'll teleport over there and kill her with two hammers, and then I realized my mistake. So, oh well.
At least you probably won't do that again.
Yes, at least this was on a friendly game, so I didn't do it during a tournament.
A lot of you and cheating involved with Electro. I think you really need to figure out that model a little bit better. Seems like this is a center
are,
stone to these situations.
are you talking about our game, the tournament where I
Uh,
forgot to do all of Electro's things?
yeah, and then you were friendly reminded by a bystander in the event.
Well,
That
my
bystander
other
probably thought it was automatic.
my other game was against Borka. I was playing Spider Foes, and I was playing Green Goblin Spider Foes instead of Doc Ock Spider Foes, because I was playing against Kingpin, and my first thought was I need to be able to kill his people as quick as possible. This game did not go well for me, although it didn't go terribly. I had some pretty good plays. Uh, it started off real bad because I forgot to put out a sinister trap, which I do sometimes, and when I do, I feel dumb. That would have changed. It probably wouldn't have substantively changed things, but it may have shifted other things a little
I
bit more
mean,
in my favor.
if you rolled like in our game, it probably would have mattered.
Oh yeah, I did 4 damage to Domino at the very beginning of the game against Brad. So I'm playing against Borka, and he's kicking my butt. Uh, I mean, it's really hard to play against Criminal Syndicate. They're really hard. Kingpin Criminal Syndicate. We were playing on Superpowered Scoundrels. I remember that, and I think Paranoia Pummels Populace. Yeah, and he was just getting so far ahead on victory points. And there was a turn where things swung in kind of in my favor, but then they swung back, and it was there was no way I could pull out a win here. I did daze Kingpin, and I would have KO'd him had it gone to another turn, which is a stupid thing to say. It's pointless because it ended on round 3. But yeah, this is Brandon. This is a normal Kingpin Spider Foes game. How it played out. Pretty much nothing new under the sun here.
I think he told me, didn't he? I think he told me that you got your secures and you got scoundrels, or was that a
Possible.
different game?
I don't think so because it was my extract and it was Paranoia, because he wouldn't play Paranoia Pummels Populous. I don't think.
No,
I play
it
Paranoia
was your
Pummels Populace.
extracts, Fred.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
my extract.
I needed to be very clear that I definitely play Paranoia Pummels Populace.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong.
It's a 5-point possibility on an extract. I 100% play that one.
Right.
You get bonus points. He had mentioned that you guys played, and there's been a couple of times where you got your secures, and like each time you always got scoundrels.
It's always superpowered scoundrels. He's
Yeah,
right. Like
that-
every
Yeah.
time we play, I get superpowered scoundrels when it's my secures.
I would like it to be known that one of the reasons I was late is because Josh had came to the store and I was selling him stuff and ended up going over a little bit. But he told me, and I want this to be known. He said, and I don't want to quote because I'll probably get the words wrong. He said, he's like, now that I've been playing Syndicate a lot and Kingpin, I understand what you meant by it's stressful to play them. And I want it to be known that it's a thing. All right, just because you guys don't understand it, if you played them more, you would understand it.
You just move the models onto the point and stand there. Throw some guys around.
It's just a lot. I'm just saying, it's a real thing.
I'll take your word for it. I have played Kingpin in the past, and it is tough. It's tougher than we kind of give you credit for. But also,
I'm not-
Kingpin.
I'm not giving him any credit here. It's not that tough.
So those were the games that we played. Brandon has not played any games, unfortunately.
I've been very busy. I hope to get a game in this week or two. I'll be
Yeah.
there this week, so barring something drastically unforeseen, I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you there. All right. Let's move on. Now we're moving on to Angel.
Does
The
Brad
person.
not get to talk about his games?
I did.
Brad only played me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Brad played another game or not.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, it was just the one where I cheated. I guess I talked more than Brad did during that explanation.
That's because I couldn't
Sorry,
Don't
remember
actually-
stuff.
I don't even remember Brad saying a word. That's why I was confused.
All right, let's move on to Angel, otherwise known as Warren Worthington III. His defense stats are 3, 3, and 3. He has 5 health on both sides of his card. He has a threat value of 3, size 2, and a medium mover. Hey, Brad, why don't you do his attacks?
His first attack is a physical attack called Flyby. It is beam 3, 4 dice, cost 0. After the attack is resolved, gain a power after each attack is resolved. After all attacks generated by this attack are resolved, place this character within 1 of the last character targeted by this attack. His second attack is a physical Avenging Angel attack, range 3, 7 dice, cost 3. After this attack is resolved, if the target character is size 3 or less, this character may throw it short. And Wild Stun, after this attack is resolved, the target character gains the stun special condition.
All right, and Brandon, why don't you read the rest of the card?
Airlift is a reactive superpower for 2. During its activation, when this character begins a move action within 2 of another allied character of size 2 or less, it may use this superpower. After the move action is resolved, place the allied character within 2 of its current position. This superpower can be used once per turn. Hostile Takeover, another 2-power reactive superpower. During its activation, when this character begins a move action within 2 of an enemy character, it may use this superpower. After the move action is resolved, push the enemy character towards this character's short. This superpower can only be used once per turn. He has Healing Factor 1 and Flight.
Okay. So that is Angel. All right. So I think that it's important that I put out where I'm coming from here. This guy is a lot like Vulture. Now, my initial take on Vulture was that he's going to die very easily and that's problematic. I have since grown to really like Vulture. I think Vulture, the more I use him, the more I like him. And sometimes his death is part of the play pattern. You let them kill him to power him up, and then you do some really good activations after that. Uh, I hit my mic again. Uh, Angel seems like a less good Vulture. To me, at least. He does not have hit and run. He doesn't have. I guess it's a 7 die attack instead of an 8 die attack, but it costs a power less, so that's probably good. I don't know. I kind of am leaning towards Vulture, but that's because I've used him. Uh, Brad, what are your thoughts here looking at Angel?
Angel is a 3-point Logan the Wolverine.
Okay, that is quite the statement.
So, uh, his spender and builder are backwards. So his free attack is the beam that places him. And then his spender, Angel Spender, is very similar to Logan charging because he gets a throw when he charges. He doesn't get
Okay.
to move first. He still gets the throw. He gets stun instead of bleed. Better. And he gets 7 dice instead of 5, but no chance for rerolls.
Yeah.
His attacks
Okay.
are kind of similar to Logan's. The
They're
beam,
kind of similar. They're also more pillow fisted
uh,
by a pretty big margin, I would say.
Avenging Angel is not
It's
really.
7 dice. You're right.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
pretty good.
really
That's
any
pretty good.
worse than his charge. It's pretty on par. The beam is, yeah. It's only
Yeah.
4 dice. But like you get a little bit of chip damage, you build some power, and you get to place
You get to
him,
place yourself. Yeah.
which is good. Uh, range 3 attacks are great. And then airlift and hostile takeover, those are just like gravy after that. Like
They're nice.
his attacks are
You
good
have to
enough.
be able to move. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I don't mean to cut you off so much.
Yeah, you do have to move for them. But as you've seen with Vulture, sometimes all you're gonna do is double move and get some of this action. I wish the hostile takeover was place them within 2 of their current location like Vulture's is.
Uh huh.
But I mean, and he's got healing factor, so he's not quite as squishy.
Correct. Yeah, he's
It's
got healing factor.
I think the funniest thing is my opinion was almost the exact opposite of Fred's. Is that I thought this character was just a better Vulture.
A better Vulture?
Yeah.
No, I
So
disagree.
being able to move both offense and defensive characters, I think is more relevant than a hit and run. Like I would much rather be able to move an enemy character off a point in almost every scenario than having like a hit and run and an airlift. Um,
Well, Vulture moves enemy characters with abduct.
He doesn't move friendlies.
He
yeah, he
doesn't
doesn't
move
move friendly.
friendlies.
Yeah. Sorry, I had that backwards. So yeah, so he can, but again, you can only move one. So I like you can with airlift, like if you're gonna move, you can spend 2 power to move yourself on a point and move a character onto a point. then you have, I think the thing is with like the moving too is I mean obviously the move action on airlift, but flyby, being able to move and make a beam 3 attack where you get a place, like you're probably not gonna get a ton of damage with that, but on you can make sure that you can airlift or take over on the second turn with like you're probably doing both on turn 2, or you can avenging angel if you want to on turn 2 because you don't have to use your power. You can move up to the center point by moving and then fly by because you can place yourself at the end of the 3,
Yeah. And
and then you're gonna have the extra power.
medium move, medium base. Like he can reach the further than the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting around the board a lot better than I think. And like so on a range 3, if you're at full range 3 distance, one away from the back end of that. So say it's a medium base model and you're at the tip of the thing. So you're basing a 1 on the backside, so you're moving almost a 5 in range um with a free attack. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that attack's probably not doing a lot, but like if you're playing on hammers and you can pick up a hammer and now you have a beam 3 with 5 dice that gives you a power and moves you across the board, like he's gonna fly. And being able to move, so in theory, in one turn, you can technically make a move off of like you can hostile takeover, move someone off a point, move, and then attack, and now you're on the complete opposite side of the board, and you impacted somebody on the other side of the board, which is really relevant. And having healing factor is going to be good. I mean, he's still going to be squishy. I don't know if he's going to see a ton of play, but I do think he's just a better version of Vulture because
Okay.
he can kind of play
He,
offensively and defensively because he can set himself up for avenging Angel really well with the flyby. Like being able to fly by and on a turn you just have to get 2 people in your beam to have avenging angel ready, which
yeah.
gets a throw plus stun on 7 dice. I actually think he's a much better version of Vulture.
He's real cool, and like I'd be real excited. I'm not playing her right now, but under Storm, like his mobility and his like displacements and stuff. Like even if he has, let's say he has 4 power, and they've pushed one of your guys off, like let's say Kingpin, there's your guy off the point. Kingpin might not be a good example because he has a medium throw, but you could move Angel over there, like if it's a C or an E, move Angel to where Kingpin is, pay your 4 power, move your guy on, move back to some other C or E, and then push Kingpin off the point. And or
Huh.
something like that. Like you can there's a lot of like little things you can do in this.
You can also do both of them in the same move action.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Okay,
Like
yeah, that's what I
on the
thought. I thought that's what you were
second
getting at, but
move.
I wanted
Yeah.
to make that very clear that you can pay the 4, move your person on a point, move their
Their
person off
person
a
off a
point,
point at the same
and move
time.
yourself to a different point because a
Yes.
medium base
Uh-huh.
medium move gets you between spots on Bs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I think it's and I want to say like the reason I think he is what Vulture does is not something the affiliations he's in really wanted or need or really would do anything with. Where if Angel was in his exact spot, so say Angel was a criminal syndicate, like he has way more play in criminal syndicate being able to move his own characters plus his enemy characters versus just being able to move enemy characters like Vulture does.
I mean, so I I am seeing how he can be more useful than I originally thought. Uh, I still I think that Vulture has much more of a place in Spider Foes than he does in Criminal Syndicate.
Well,
Uh,
that's great because you have Vulture and X-Men have Angel, and they're going to be very happy about it, I think.
Yeah,
yeah,
I get what you're saying, but I still don't think Vulture even really does much of what criminals or what Spider Foes wants to do either.
he is probably
Where
the third 3 that I would grab, maybe fourth.
where Angel does everything that like Storm wants them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Eh,
probably plays pretty well under Xavier too.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do. I mean, Cyclops doesn't matter. Let's be honest.
He's fine in Cyclops. Like a beam under
Yeah,
Cyclops has the
it's still
potential to
good.
put out several power.
It just
So,
doesn't matter because you shouldn't be playing Cyclops.
eh,
Angel, will Angel be X Force or is it just gonna be?
I think it's going to be Archangel's X Force and Uncanny X Men, and Angel will be X Men. Maybe a
And
Defender.
yeah, I didn't know if he would get. I didn't know if they would do him as X Force or if they would just do
No, I
Archangel. I
think
mean,
it'll
I
just be
prefer it just to
Archangel.
be Archangel if they're just gonna have one of them.
Angel, Beast, and Iceman were all defenders at the same time, is the problem. And the
Yeah,
other two aren't in the list. So,
yeah. I mean, there's a really good chance he's just Uncanny X Men.
Mm.
Right, like, and I think that's. I mean, because he's definitely not a New Mutant. Uh,
no,
he's definitely not Weapon X.
no.
He
He
does have healing factor.
he
He's
was
not Weapon
experimented on.
X. No, he was not experimented on. He has angelic blood that heals people.
He was kind of experimented on.
And not by Weapon X, and that was the
Yeah,
other
yeah. I
version of
know.
him.
Yeah. And then there's no other. What are the other
And
mutant? He's not. He's definitely not Brotherhood.
no. Oh, and Brandon, the New Mutants on launch is going to be Warlock, Sunspot, and Magic. And I'll tell you if a new one comes out that will be.
Are those the only ones that they're gonna have?
Yeah. There's a like tiny chance that Shadowcat's in there because she was
Yeah.
a new mutant for half an issue, but probably not.
Definitely, just for everyone thinking that doesn't know comics, Angel definitely not a New Mutant.
No, definitely not a new mutant.
He was an original X-Men. Definitely not a New Mutant.
All right. Well, we need to do his tactics cards too because we do know what two of his tactics cards are going to be. Uh, his first one is called Fallen. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. When an allied angel would flip his stat card to the injured side, he may play this card. If Archangel is not in your squad, push all enemy characters within range 2 of Angel away short. Pushed characters gain the bleed special condition, then place Archangel within range 1 of Angel. Flip his stat card to the injured side. He is now part of your squad and gains power equal to the amount of power Angel has. Then remove Angel from the game. So this is very thematic because Angel gets turned into Archangel at one point in the storyline. At least if Brad and Brandon are right about that. I have never read it, but they have said so to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the thing. That's the thing that
yeah,
happens.
it's a
Well,
thing.
Fred,
The-
you can read the cards and they have the same name.
yeah, they're the same person. They're both Warren Worthington the third.
Hey,
They
you
are
just brought up a point that I was going to ask. Why does it specify if Archangel is not in your squad? Then
I don't
because
know.
you.
why
Yeah,
does it
I
specify that?
think it might be future proofing just in case.
Maybe has there ever been another Archangel?
it would be.
No.
But if they could
Hmm.
technically do an archangel that's just like the like angel of death and not give and like his name could be just death instead of I don't know.
Well,
It
it's
Yeah.
doesn't.
um I think it's just future proofing. I think it's
Okay.
just or for alternate formats where they're like play whoever you want, or I think
Yeah.
it's just so that this card will always work the way they intend it to.
Right.
I also,
It's a weird thing to need to specify because you already
Yeah.
can't take Archangel if you have Angel.
I do want to get in here before Fred says something stupid because he's been real negative recently about all these models. This tactics card is absolutely fucking busted. All right, the fact that it's just not on your squad, like if you don't have him in your roster at all, like you can always turn him for a tactics card into a 4-point model who is wildly better. Like the increase from Angel to Archangel is really really crazy. for a tactics card that doesn't cost power.
It doesn't cost any power, and
It
it's
costs
just
nothing.
this is one of those rare times where this card is really fun and really cool, and also really good. Like,
Really, like the fact that you get to push everyone away from you, they gain bleed. You're upgrading your 3-point model to a 4-point model, gaining an extra defense dice on both physical and mystic attacks, a health. You lose healing factor, but you gain everything that he has on his attack, which is a lot of really good stuff.
yeah.
And he gains Wing
Um,
Shield and, more importantly, Chosen of Apocalypse, which is a
Yeah.
great little passive ability.
and I just want to point out that some people might claim that this card's too good because now you're playing a point up on threat. I just want to point out a couple, anecdotal. This is anecdotal evidence, but I played 4 points up on Fred last week. Did not matter. I've played one. I've played 1 point down a lot of times, and it hasn't mattered. So that one
Yeah.
point
I do
isn't
think it is. I do
broken.
think it's really relevant. I think Brad's anecdotal statements here are not valuable, and I think this tactics card is absolutely busted.
You think that this is like a problem? Do you think that this will be
I
a
don't.
case where do
I
you
the
think
the issue is
that
I don't think Angel is that great of a character that you're not going to play him a ton.
okay.
But I do think this could make Storm really really good. To being able to just knowingly be able to upgrade one of your models for a tactics card could be really relevant, but I don't know how good Angel is to play him that much. And
He's
I
great with
also,
Storm. Just great.
He,
yeah,
here's here is my question. Do we ever see Angel's backside? Like is this card
Yes.
going to be ubiquitous enough that
No.
we
There's
never okay.
there's too many good tactics cards, especially in X-Men. I don't think you always take Fallen.
but it
Okay.
feels real good.
Yeah. You'll take it a lot when you take Angel, but you won't take
I
Okay.
it every
think
time.
there's also like there is like play where you can play like there's something to say about playing teams and rosters like Hellfire Club that doesn't have a lot of tactics cards and does like I mean
He
even though they're at 4 on their like state like bases like they still don't have a ton of like tactics cards and
uh
being able to
Angel would be great in Hellfire. Also,
Yeah, he would.
that
Yeah,
just
he would.
reminded me, Angel is a member of the Hellfire Club and may actually be affiliated.
just be
Huh.
straight affiliated, hey,
Like
that'd be
Emma
good. But
Frost.
yeah, but that's like what I was getting at. Like he would be Angel would be really good in Hellfire Club, and being able to mid game upgrade Angel to Archangel in that affiliation is really really good.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next tactics card, which ties into this tactics card quite a bit. Uh this next one is called Ultimate Sacrifice. It is unaffiliated and reactive, and when an allied character within range 2 of an allied angel is targeted by an enemy attack, Angel may spend 2 power to play this card. Angel becomes the target of the attack regardless of range or line of sight. After the attack is resolved, if Angel is dazed or KO'd, remove up to 3 damage and all special conditions from the allied character. Okay. So this card is a bodyguard. It's a bodyguard card, and the effect of it is if he gets killed, if he gets dazed, the person that he is saving heals 3 damage, which is quite a bit. I like
that
this
is it's
effect.
a lot.
That is a lot.
Like three's a lot.
Yeah. I like this quite a bit, and you can use this to trigger the fallen
Fallen. Yeah.
tactics card. Which I think is a pretty it's a fun thing to do, but you would be taking 2 tactics cards for Angel. I don't know if you've got the space
See,
for
I
that.
think
Maybe
this
in Hellfire Club. Maybe this is a Hellfire Club play.
I think this card is also one of the reasons why you won't see Fallen as much because you don't want to take 2. And this is a good card. Like, any bodyguard
yeah, this
card
is a good
is
card.
good as long as it has an extra effect. And this is a pretty good effect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like that he got 2 really good cards.
He did. He got 2 good cards. He did get 2 cards.
They've been really consistent on when they give people cards. It's like one's good and one's fun. Both of these are just good.
I mean, one is fun. It just
One is
also
it is fun.
happens
You're
to
right. That
be
is fun.
good.
Yeah, they definitely designed Fallen to be more fun, but I don't think they realize like how good that actually is.
Yeah.
Also, the art on Ultimate Sacrifice, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you name all
Jared,
those characters, Fred?
uh, Fred can't name
Mm.
those characters.
Oh, there's
Jared
no way.
Jared is not reading this storyline, the one pictured in the picture. I will recommend this storyline. He's reading the one where Angel gets turned into Archangel though, and he doesn't listen to this podcast, so he doesn't know that we're talking about him.
One of them is Sabretooth. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
Okay,
One of them
Sabretooth's
is
on the
that
top
Emma
right.
Frost?
No.
Okay. And is that you have mentioned this character before. He's a guy whose power is he has a harpoon. And
He charges the harpoon with energy and then throws it.
his power is he has a harpoon. And I remember you mentioning him. I don't know what his name is.
His name's Harpoon.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Okay. Well,
I can't really tell who that woman is.
okay.
Hold
There's
on,
just
hold
not
on.
enough.
Oh,
Is it
it's
Darkstar?
no. I can see her arm now. It's
There's like energy coming out of her arm.
Vertigo. Is that her name?
Oh, Vertigo. Okay.
Something like
Fred,
that.
if there were 3 mutants that you could see plainly, why the fuck would the 4th character be Darkstar?
Hey, I don't know anything about. How do I know that Darkstar isn't also a mutant? I don't
Darkstar
know
is
these
a
things.
mutant.
Hey, hey.
Darkstar is a mutant.
Take
But
that,
she's
Brandon.
not. But she's not. She would not be battling against the Brotherhood with the X-Men.
It's not the Brotherhood. It's the
Or whatever they're called. They're the subsidiary.
Marauders.
The unit,
They're called the Marauders.
yeah, the unit we should have got before if we got a second Brotherhood leadership, but we probably will just get a leadership called the Marauders.
Hey, I want to point this out also. Brad mentioned earlier in the podcast that Angel's blood heals people. That makes sense with this card. I
Yeah.
just put that together.
Yeah, this happened before that. He could heal people. Her name is Vertigo.
Nice.
Okay.
I did
Good-
get that
good
right.
pull. Good pull. All right, we got to give Angel a letter grade. Okay, I came in here skeptical of Angel. I do still feel like he is a less good Vulture from my perspective as a Spider-Foes player, but he is good, and the more that I use Vulture, the more respect I have for Vulture's playstyle, and so Angel's playstyle has quite a bit of play. I can recognize that. I am going to give him, and he has a couple really good tactics cards. I'm gonna give him a B plus. B plus. That is my score for Angel.
You are truly developing a Spider-Foes like glass that you just look through.
I don't know what you're talking about, Green Goblin. All right, Brad, what do you give this guy?
I want to hear Brandon first.
Brandon.
I think I'm really close to Fred here. I think the tactics cards are actually really, really good. I think this model is a staple if you're playing Storm. I'm gonna go with an A minus.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay. I was wondering if you were gonna go higher than Fred. I like the B
Yeah.
plus. I think that's pretty good.
I was
Like he's gonna see a lot of play in his affiliation with certain leaders because of
I was at a B plus until you convinced me to think about how good he actually is with Storm.
yeah, he's great with Storm.
Yeah.
And those tactics cards are good when you get to play them. Like they're doing a good job designing tactics cards. It's much harder to pick 5 now.
And I think that's the
Yeah.
big thing too with Under Storm. I think play Fallen a lot less and play Ultimate Sacrifice a lot more, because
Yeah.
getting a sacrifice and not having to play sacrifice as your restricted card
Yeah.
Yeah.
is really good. Because for a long time, correct me if I'm wrong, that was one of the staple restricted cards for Storm was sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've grown a little cold on it in X-Men because the scenarios tend to be too wide to use it well. So
Yeah. But Angel being able to sacrifice and then move himself to wherever he wants on the board the next turn is, and heal someone.
yeah.
Like healing Storm and then being able next turn to go wherever you want is going to be
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, that was our take on Angel. He's gonna see play. All right, Brad. Do you have any comic books that feature this guy?
I sure
Feature
do.
Warren Worthington the Third.
I've got all sorts of comic books today. So he was one of
has
the
Angel ever been in a comic book? Or is he just a made up character?
no. He hasn't been in as many comics as Archangel. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
So what I have is I was gonna say Archangel, as Brandon said earlier, is one of the original 5 X-Men.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
The original 5?
Yes, he's one of the original
Oh.
5. Fred, who are the other 4?
Okay. Uh, Cyclops.
Correct.
Storm?
No.
Jean Grey.
Yes.
Professor Xavier?
He doesn't count.
He doesn't count?
He wasn't on the team. He was their teacher.
Beast?
Yes.
Banshee?
No.
Okay. It's because of the movie First Class is why I said that.
Yeah.
I don't know who I don't know who
Iceman?
I'm missing. Iceman?
That's it. You got the other 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
They are all in the game now. Angel is
They
for
are
some-
on the game. I'm definitely gonna play a game with those 5 characters as my team. Once
'Cause-
Angel comes out.
Because for some stupid reason, Angel's the last one we get, and I'm still upset about it.
This is your guy, right, Brandon? This is
He's,
you love
he is my
this.
favorite mutant, yes.
Yeah.
Specifically Archangel.
I
but-
told you, Fred, it was Archangel.
Yeah.
Well,
Specifically
I mean,
Archangel.
it's the same guy. It's the
It
same
It is
the
the
same
same
guy.
guy. They are both really cool. Like it's not, but to Brad's point, like Archangel is much more prominent in the comics show. Like any appearance is usually very Archangel versus Angel.
And in fact, so much so that in the animated series, the episode Angel first appears, they turn him into Archangel. That same episode.
Okay.
Archangel's just way cooler of a character.
Well, they did that because, like, his power is to fly, and then eventually they add Storm to the team, whose one of her powers is to fly, and she doesn't even have wings, and she does so much more.
Yeah.
So they spruced him up a little. Anyway, as I was saying, he's original X-Man, and so the original run of X-Men, which was 66 issues, he's in that. That's a mixed bag. Some of those are really good and really bad, and he gets some highlights in there. Like at one point in one storyline, he saves everyone else by going and getting help. So that's not what I'm going to recommend. I'm actually going to recommend a series from 1999 called X-Men Hidden Years. There's 22 issues. This is by John Byrne and Tom Palmer. And what this series does is it bridges the gap between those original 66 issues and Giant Size X-Men #1, where they added some new characters to X-Men and made it more of a global franchise. So that's when they add fan favorites Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, and Nightcrawler. All get added. There's a few others. One of them dies almost immediately. But those are the characters people know of from that issue. But in Hidden Years, there is a lot of really good Angel and Candy Southern content, and Candy
Who?
is Angel's girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she an X person?
She has no
X-Men?
superpowers. She's just a normal girl.
She's just a normal person.
Yeah.
She just is the girlfriend of a dude who has wings.
Yes. And she knows he's a
Okay.
mutant and has wings and all that stuff. They grew up together, but Candy's great. Like, she's awesome. But Angel and Candy in this series are written really well. Uh,
Okay.
they're very likable as a couple. It's a good series for them.
Okay.
So I just mentioned Giant Size X-Men #1, and they end up with way too many X-Men because of this. Because they add a bunch of new ones, but the old ones are still there. So everyone that's not Cyclops from the old X-Men leave.
Okay. They just take off.
They just take off. They do other things. Jean Grey's back pretty quickly, but the other three are gone for a very long time. So, uh, Angel ends up in Los Angeles and starts a new superhero team called the Champions. This lasted
City
17.
of Angels.
What?
Oh, keep going. Sorry.
This series, 1975, 17 issues. Tony Isabella and Bill Mantlo write it, various artists, and he gets his friend Bobby, Iceman, to join. And then the rest of the team, Fred, is, of course, this makes a lot of sense. Black Widow, Ghost Rider, Hercules, yes, the mythical Hercules, and your favorite, Fred, Dark Star.
Hey. She is not my favorite.
This is a really good full circle moment here for Fred.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So, this team works out of LA. They stop bad guys there. Spider-Man shows up in a couple issues. And the big thing is, I can't believe this is not an affiliation. One, all those people except Hercules are in the game now. And two, there is a second team called Champions. It's a bunch of teen superheroes and includes Miss Marvel and Miles, who are
Oh, God,
already
really?
in the game.
Okay.
So they have a bunch of champions that they could put in an affiliation. I don't know why we don't have this affiliation.
Do you think it would be a card affiliation or would there be a leader?
Well, at this point, they've put out all those characters. It would have to
Yeah.
be a card of some sort.
I mean,
But
they could have a character come out with another version
they could.
with a leadership.
They could. But they could have made Miss Marvel the leader or Angel the leader of champions when they made them. And Angel maybe would have made more sense because by then they had enough people. When Miss Marvel came out, it was really just who was out?
Well, plus,
Black Widow, her and Miles, right? That's it.
yeah, I guess
Maybe
so.
Ghost Rider. Maybe Ghost Rider had been out.
Yeah, Ghost Rider was out. Ghost Rider was out.
Not very many people.
Isn't he also a lot older than Miss Marvel?
They're
Angel?
on different versions of the champions.
Oh, right.
This is
Okay.
like the
Okay.
70s version of the champions was that weird team. And then like in the 2000s, Miss Marvel, Miles, and Kid Nova start a new team called the Champions.
Okay.
So they're distinct, but there's no reason they can't be the same affiliation in the game.
They're running out of things to call teams in this universe.
Uh both teams being called the Champions makes sense within the story.
Okay. Okay.
Even though they're unrelated and they don't reference each other at all.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, the next series I'm going to recommend is it's Defenders 125 through 139, and then it changes name to the New Defenders from 140 through 152. And this had several writers during this period and several artists, but uh, this is after the Champions things wrapped up. Angel and Iceman and their Avenger friend the Beast all joined the Defenders, and
Okay.
this run is like really underrated. It's like really good, and not a lot of people have read it. And I keep like when I come across someone who's like read it, they're like, "Oh yeah, that was like really good. I love that." So read it. It's good.
What was this run called?
Defenders.
Is that why no one has read it?
It's also called the New Defenders. It's issue 125 through 152 of the Defenders series. Like
Okay.
it's deep, and
It's way in there.
it's a completely different team. Like it was like Hulk and Namor and Valkyrie and Doctor Strange and stuff. And then they're all gone, except Valkyrie sticks around. She's on both teams. Uh, I guess she leaves for a bit and then comes back with Moondragon.
Valkyrie, West Virginia strong.
Yes, she is our superhero. There's a ton of interesting stuff going on in this series. Um, Including, you remember Candy Southern from like two suggestions ago?
Yes, Angel's girlfriend.
Yeah, she becomes team leader.
Even though she has no superpowers?
She continues to have no superpowers.
Okay.
They basically tell her, "We've got the fighting covered. We need you to keep us organized."
Okay.
And Candy
We
Southern
we
owns her own business. She's very good at it.
Candy Souther's superpower accounting.
A little more than that, but their base,
Management. Good management.
their base of operations becomes Angel's mountaintop home, and that is a very important setting for the series, and a lot of important things happen. In fact, like the last, I don't know, years worth of comics, like 12 issues, I think they all take place in the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like
Interesting.
big stuff happens, and the like climax and ending of this run is really good.
Okay.
And then it gets canceled, not because it's not good, but because the people in charge at Marvel decide that they're going to put the original 5 X-Men back together in a series called uh, X Factor, and
Hey.
they're not going to let Jean being dead stop them. And they
Okay.
resurrect Jean Grey to do that. But I'm
Of
also
course.
not recommending X Factor today.
You've already recommended X Factor, haven't you?
I probably have. I'm gonna
I think I
recommend.
remember you saying
I'm
it
gonna
before.
I'm gonna recommend some specific X Factor issues when we talk about Archangel and Apocalypse, because that's where
Okay.
Apocalypse first shows up, and it's also where Archangel becomes Archangel. My
Okay.
last and fourth suggestion today is a newer comic. I'm skipping from like the late 70s into 2021, a series called X Corp for X Corporation. It's only 5 issues. It's by Teeny Howard and Alberto Foche? Foch? I don't know. Foche. And this is X-Men doing corporate mergers.
What?
It
Okay.
is a mutant run corporation run by Angel, and he's like this is Angel. Like he's not Archangel
Not
anymore.
Archangel.
Yes. So he's
He's not
Angel again.
the angel of death. He's not the horseman of death
No.
standing there making corporate mergers,
No.
spreading his wings and saying, "You will take only 20% or else I will make you suffer."
So Angel wasn't that good at superheroics until he turns into Archangel. He, however, is the heir to a massive fortune in a giant business. So he is good at that. So they put him
Okay.
to use doing that stuff. So
He's good at being a billionaire.
he is. Uh and so he's helping make the island nation of Krakoa money.
Yeah, I
And
recognize that.
he yeah, you do. Uh they also like I don't know, they're improving the life of humans and making money off of it.
Yeah, with like pharmaceuticals and stuff, right?
Pharmaceuticals, better cell phone stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh this is still a superhero comic and there's still a bunch of punch 'em ups and and I told you this is Angel, not Archangel.
Yeah,
Uh
how is that?
I
How is he back to being Angel?
I kind of lied when I said that because when he loses control, when he gets too angry or whatever, he turns back into Archangel.
So his wings become metal, or are they metal all the time?
No, they become metal.
Okay, weird.
Yeah. And I don't think he's always blue anymore and then he turns blue when he turns Archangel.
Okay.
So he like transforms kind of Hulk like in this series, which
You wouldn't
is
like him when he's blue.
yeah, so that's an interesting little twist because he's like, oh, and the bad guys are for this are the Fenris twins. Do you remember who the Fenris twins are, Fred?
I remember this being a thing, and I don't remember who they are. I
So
remember
they're
this being one of the trivia things.
yeah, they're Baron Strucker's
That's right.
twin children. They're Nazis. They're mutant Nazis.
And they're also having sex, right?
Heavily implied. Yeah,
Heavily implied.
yeah. They can't say that. It's
Right.
Marvel Comics.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
That was four recommendations for Angel, because we're never gonna get another version of Angel. So
yeah. You leave some on the plate for next week.
I did. I've got three more for next week, and then three more for Apocalypse.
Oh wow. Okay. All right, Brandon. I'm throwing it over to you. Where do you think Archangel would be a very good fit? Where
Angel's
he?
been in a lot of comics. This is
I
Angel,
said
not Archangel.
I
You
said
did.
Archangel. Sorry, my mistake.
Uh,
Angel.
I really think. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I really think Hellfire Club is like one of the best places for him, um,
Yeah.
because of the tactics cards. And you can play either or depending on what type of game you want to play with him. So like he can universally fit in like pretty much any style of um, Hellfire Club you're trying to play. Um, but I mean, any control pieces, if you're playing control or trying to play heavy control, like I feel like he fits in really well. I like him with Web Warriors as well. Getting miles and stuff out of activation movements, and just being able to get across the board is something Web Warriors likes. If we don't want to, because there's a chance he's just straight up affiliated Hellfire Club, as Brad informed us.
Yeah.
So like if he's not Hellfire Club, I think Hellfire Club's a place he'll see a lot of play. But I think as a three with a lot of movement, you should probably test him out with Web Warriors. I actually think I like him better than Iceman in Web Warriors. Iceman does a lot of the slow stuff, but I think this character can kind of play around the board a little bit better.
Plus, he will be more survivable under Miles Morales.
Yeah, he's more survivable with healing factor, plus getting a sacrifice to keep Miles around, and or if you need to, you can turn him into Archangel on the backside,
Yep. Okay.
depending on the matchup.
All right. Well, thank you, Brandon. And I guess the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. So, Angel has been played by multiple people in the movies. He was played by Ben Hardy in X-Men Apocalypse and Caden Boyd in X-Men The Last Stand. What do those two movies have in common? They're both terrible. They're bad movies. Um, I also was looking through. These are both actors that have been in other things and other things that are better, but I've also not seen much of
Who
it.
who did you say was X-Men Last Stand?
Caden Boyd?
That's not right.
Is that not correct?
No. It's Ben
Oh,
Foster.
then I'm looking at Google just lied to me then.
It was Ben
Sorry,
Foster because I followed Ben Foster's career.
Ben Foster. Well, never mind then. Anyway, what I was gonna. Boy,
Oh,
Google is
Caden
wrong.
Boyd played Young Angel.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he did play Angel. Go ahead.
Huh. Okay. Well, what I was gonna. I've been watching a British show called Taskmaster recently, and it is a stupid comedy show where they do tasks that are really dumb. And it's also hilarious. It's very funny. It's a ton of fun watching people trying to do these tasks. It is easy watching. That is what I'm bringing you today. It is something you can watch without having your brain on, and that is sometimes nice when you have too much going on in your brain. So that is Taskmaster. I believe that a lot of it, if not all of it, is available on YouTube for free.
There's also a subscription service called BritBox that should have all of it.
Yes.
That might be easier to use, and it's only like $5 a month.
And no annoying YouTube commercials if you do it that way.
Yeah.
So that's Taskmaster. Go watch it. It's a ton of fun. It is actually a ton of fun. And that is it for our show today. Thank you, Brad and Brandon, for joining me, and thank you everyone out there for listening to me prattle on about nonsense and be wrong about who's playing Archangel. Or dang it, Angel. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make that mistake a lot next week too, I think.
I don't
Ooh, the
think you'll
kid
call
definitely
Archangel
never played
Archangel.
the kid definitely never played Archangel.
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, well, thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice rest of the week.